Hey, it's Monday night. It's Dialogue with Dozy because it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night. So glad that you're here. We're emanating from beautiful South Florida. We were looking to see where we were going to be. So we are home from the studio right here tonight. Kim is he's here in the region, but he is he's on assignment. He may be able to join in, but you know we always got it covered. God always supplies that ram in the bush. My right side, sitting shotgun with me tonight is my sister, Linda Scott, Houston, Texas. Miss Linda, what's up?
I don't know what's going on. I'm excited about the show tonight. Let's get it on.
Even though you and your company gave me a hard time getting you on today to be with us, it's going to make it all the more of a great show. So what's the weather like out there in H-Town?
It was pretty nice. It was nice and cool, like 70 degrees, 77, something like that. Little rain, just enough to say it rained, not enough to do anything. But it was pretty good.
I had to drag my golf clubs out there. I probably can beat you. That's one thing I can beat you doing. You beat me in basketball and all that stuff. I probably can beat you.
Don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time.
I know.
Don't waste it. Don't waste it.
I try.
Yeah.
Well, listen, like you said, tonight is an exciting show. We got an incredible brother who consented to be with us tonight, and what we hope is going to be a lifelong friendship of the dialogue and ours. Let's not even hold him up. Let's bring him, brother. Verse Simmonds is with us tonight. Brother Verse, how you doing?
Yo, I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
I told you about that well thing now. Come on.
Linda, you keep playing now. You're gonna get your groove back playing around with me now.
I ain't never left it. I never lost it. So you better watch out who you're talking to.
All right. I got it.
So for all our viewers this late coming on tonight, because we came on so early and on time and everything tonight. Y'all missed the pre-production. That was a little spirited conversation. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let them get into it later on. You know, whenever Linda signs on, it's going to be fireworks. It can't be a civil show. She's always going to act like a Jasperette. She'll tell you what that is, too. Our brother tonight, we're going to let him introduce himself, but he is a producer to the stars. He is a writer. When he tells his story and you hear his path, you're just gonna pat us all on the back and say, man, y'all reached long and hard tonight and came real correct. So, Bro Verse, just tell everybody at Dozeland, just tell us about you.
Well, I hope everybody's having a good night. My name is Verse Simmonds. I'm a songwriter, artist, producer, 5-time Grammy nominated. I've written records for everybody from Jay-Z and Kanye to Justin Bieber, and you could almost put anybody else in between there. I've been in the industry for quite a while now, somewhere around like 15 years probably. Yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. Yeah, I'm from the Virgin Islands. That's another thing. I'm from the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, for those who are familiar with there.
That was my first question to you. Where are you from? I'm loving the accent, but I didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah, Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. Yep.
Good for you. Yeah. Welcome. Well, let me just start off by saying we welcome you to the show. I'm super excited about you being a part of it. And now I just got the question. I gotta ask. I gotta get that out first. Okay, so we'll know how we're going.
Okay.
The question is, do you date older women?
I'm like I said to you before, I'm open to anything good for me. If older woman got something good for me, then I'm with it,
Okay. Y'all hear them out there now. Y'all stand in line. The questions out there, so I know which ones you want me to ask.
Absolutely.
I looked at a little bit of history of yours, and one statement that you stated that really caught my eye was, you are a blessing or a lesson to others. Tell me what that means.
I'm a blessing or a lesson to others. I feel like anybody who I cross paths with and we actually have a genuine connection, I try to, find the the positive in everything that I do, and even in the people that I meet. So I try to encourage people to think the same way. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if we cross paths and we have a connection, we build something, either I'm gonna be your blessing or your lesson. Either way, you still should be gaining something from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if what you're gaining is, oh yo, I don't wanna do that anymore. You learned something in that time that kind of like opened your eyes to some things about yourself, maybe, or whatever, But I always feel like I come into people's lives in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm either a blessing or a lesson.
I thought that was very interesting because I feel the way that you do when you come in contact with me, you're gonna learn something. So either I am gonna be a blessing. I was like, no, I needed to say that. But I'm glad you did, because now I know what I'm saying from now on. But
Yes,
so I'm telling you, I'm still in it
it's
because
all right. It's all
I
right.
feel exactly how you do. When you come in contact with me, I'm gonna give you a lesson. Are you gonna be blessed? And then that lesson itself, that's the blessing.
That's the
So
blessing.
you're gonna get it. It's coming. I enjoyed that statement, but I couldn't wait to hear your analysis behind it. So
Yeah.
good job. I appreciate that.
I
Big,
always
what you
come
got
with a
for 'em?
positive outlook. I always
Yeah,
come with a positive outlook, positive approach to people that I meet or anybody. So I'm never coming in with any malice or any kind of ill will. So
yeah,
for me, I don't think that could be anything less than or short of a blessing or a lesson.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of like old school and all that kind of stuff. I'm only like 2 years younger than you, but anyway. Oh,
Right.
okay, maybe I'll be 2 years older than you. I don't know, but somewhere like that. 2 years. How about
Yeah,
that?
2 years younger. You were talking about older ladies. I'm gonna have to
Hey,
date down now.
didn't
I'm gonna
I
have to date.
change it? That was for them older women who were out there. I'm the one that's underneath you. All
Ah,
right. Okay, we
all
got it. But
right.
um the other question that I had that I was interested in asking you was about the pressure. What kind of pressure you were created from?
What kind of pressure was I created from? Well,
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of I'm coming from the Virgin Islands, right?
Mhm.
So it's a small island, 32 square miles. There's not a lot going on, you know,
Mhm.
for a young kid besides just being on the beach, right? We don't
Mhm.
have that
Mhm.
many opportunities down there unless you come to the mainland. So for me, I come from the type of pressure that I come from nothing, essentially.
Mm.
I've
Mm.
I've been lived in poverty. I've been homeless. I've been, you know, doing a lot of what I do on my own before I kind of
Mhm.
got it, going.
Mhm.
I've moved several times chasing my dreams, like
Mhm.
from Virgin
Mhm.
Florida, from Florida to LA, from LA to Atlanta. I've been everywhere, because I had a mission and a purpose behind what I do.
Absolutely.
Um, to answer that question, that's the kind of pressure that I was making.
Pressure.
I'm a
Which,
diamond point, I've reached diamond status.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the kind of pressure that I'm coming with.
Okay. That
Yeah.
that's really good. Go ahead, Big.
Reverse, listen. Apologies. The sister she's currently residing in Houston, where the Houston Cougars, University of Houston is. And I don't know, maybe I don't need to say anything else. Did I say the Houston Cougars? Yeah, maybe I just leave that right
I
there.
need to make my way to Houston, man. Find me a sugar mama some.
You well, if you're not ready for the real women, you stay on out there. But come on to Houston. Come on to Houston. You need to come to Houston for um more than just the Cougars, but
Yes.
you need to come on to Houston and display that talent. Pull out some, because Houston has some awesome talent. So I my invitation is extended to you to come to Houston, and let's get some things going on out here,
I love Houston.
business wise.
Yeah, I love Houston. I love and I've only been like a couple times, maybe 3 times, maybe, but every time I go there, the energy is really like
Right,
I love
right,
the energy in Houston.
right.
I love how black it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
feels very powerfully black as at that.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I love Houston.
So are you gonna take my invitation to come? We talking
Yeah,
real. The business is
yes,
here, so
yes.
let's make some stuff happen.
Yes, yes.
All right. So y'all heard it from he's coming. He's
I'm
coming for
coming.
one reason or another or two reasons. But anyway, he's coming. How about that? Yeah.
Well, this
Go ahead.
was a show about your talents and showcasing the talents. But okay, all right. So, Verse, tell us this. I'm impressed. You say that you're from the U.S. Virgin Islands. How did you get your start into songwriting and producing? What propelled you into that creative? I know God gave you the creativity, but what pushed
Right.
you
I was blessed to be able to actually know what I wanted to do at a very young age. Like
Good for you.
I was probably 4 years old or something like that, in the back of my mom's car, listening to the radio, just thinking like, yo, I want to do that. Like, I want to sing. I want to be on the radio. That was always kind of like my thing. And I always had a vision for it all my life. I know a lot of people that, they find, what they're passionate about, later on in life, and which is great whenever you find it. I just was blessed to be able to have always kind of known my path and where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be. And so I was just diligent about it, and I was just making sure that it was a main focus in my life throughout my entire life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, yo, if I want to do this, then I have to sacrifice whatever it is I need to sacrifice. So like I said, if I need to move, or if I need whatever I need to do, I need to figure it out so I can be there, because I already had the vision, I already had the idea and thoughts of it. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I did feel like I was blessed with these talents to be able to give to the world. So I just kind of just chased it. So my first, I like I said, I went to school. I was in I was doing school shows, performances when I was young. I grew up, that kid. And then when I graduated from high school, I already knew I wasn't going to college. That wasn't even like a thing in my mind. So
over?
when I left high school, I ended up moving to Florida, because I have family in Florida. My grandparents, grandmother, aunts, uncles in Florida. So that was the first place I went to when I left the Virgin Islands. And I just kind of like tried to find any way into the music industry. So it started with just, local people in Florida who, needed a hook on something that I could sing, or they needed me to write something for them. And what ended up happening is I ended up meeting one of my very close friends to this day. And we formed a partnership, and we were named the Juggernauts, and we started writing and producing for like local people. And this one guy came from LA one time, and he was like, yo, he had a label in LA, and he wanted some writers and producers and to write for his artist. And my partner at the time was like, yo, I'm about to go to LA, and I want you to come out to LA and, write for this up and coming group. They're indie at the time. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up going out there for what was supposed to be like a weekend. And I ended up staying out there for 4 years.
Wow, that was a long weekend.
It's a very long weekend. So
Yeah.
because like I said, I've never really been afraid to just kind of just jump out there and figure it out. Like I've always kind of been like one of those people that's like, if I dive into it, I'm not gonna have any choice but to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question,
Yeah.
Verse.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said at the age of 4 that you were into the music. You felt that you already knew, and people don't believe half the time we're 4 years old and thinking, "Oh, this is what I want to do," but it's really true. And I'm glad you made that statement.
Yeah.
But when you left from the Virgin Islands and came to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
how did people know to reach out to you? Where did you put yourself to say, hey, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be? How did you know to do that?
Well, it kind of starts with your peers, right? So I was working at a place called Converges in Florida. It was a telemarketing thing. We used to sell calling cards for AT&T.
Okay.
And it just so happened, and I think God aligns you with the things that you need.
Absolutely,
Like if you're set on a path that he's guiding you through, he's gonna make sure you get there. And so it started with me working at this place, and that's where I met my partner, who I was doing music in. And it just happened to be just through conversation, like, oh, yo, you do music?
Right.
Yeah, I do music. You're like, yo, like, maybe we should get in the studio sometime and just
Absolutely.
kind of like work, and it kind of just instantly built like that. And then we both ended up just quitting that job and moving to LA. So that's how that happened for me, and how I because what I did is that kind of like a snowball effect, right? So like from Florida to LA, and at that point I still wasn't like necessarily on, right? I just was for like an independent company, so I wouldn't consider myself being in the music industry at that time. I was still trying to get on. Yeah. But while I was out there, I met another artist, and she was signed to Capitol Records, and this is the first time I had worked with like a major, artist signed to a major label, an artist that was signed to a major label. This is the first time that I did that, and luckily for me, it was a rapper. She was a female, and she really loved me and my partner's chemistry with her, and we just put in a lot of work. I remember like hopping a fence to get into the session one time because I was like, yo, I know she's in there working. If I could get in there, like, she'll
I can
probably
make some things happen.
make some things happen. She'll probably write some songs or whatever. So I'm hopping this fence, and I got in, and then it was just kind of like we just started to kind of like work. And
so, do you think this is all about luck, or it's about being in the right place, or the main one, God already had this aligned for you?
I think it's definitely the main one. It was already aligned, but at the same time, I feel like there's still a path you have to follow, right? Like there's still things that you have to do. Like, so being in the right place at the right time is still a thing, like I could have said, yo, the gate locked. I'm not gonna try to jump it. Like, forget it, But I think you have to still have persistence behind the things that he has lined up for you still, like, he only works if you working,
Right. And that's why I made it the third one, because you have to position yourself, as you just stated, to be hey, I ain't quitting. I know they do a lot, but I'm gonna get in some kind of way. And I'm actually in the fashion industry. And I tell the models that all the time. I missed a couple of casting calls, model calls, whatever you guys want to call it at the moment, but I missed a few. And it was one major one that I really wanted to get in. And I was like, oh man, how am I going to do this? So I got my model bag together, got myself together, and I walked in, and I first apologized for being late. And I can't remember who I am walking for. Please guide me. And with that being said, the main designer who I wanted to walk for came up and said, did I fit you yesterday? I was like, I think so, but I'm so sorry. But it was like I wanted to get in, and that door was open, so I'm going in. So I understand exactly what you're saying. You got to still, if he opens the door for you, how do you go in? That's the question. Because the door is going to open. Where do we go from there? So for the people who are in the music industry, that's an excellent example to say, hey, God has opened this door for me. Now I need to climb over this fence.
Yeah.
Look, I think the door was open, but hey, you got to climb the fence to get through the main door. So I appreciate that. Great job.
So Verse, you're multi-talented. Guy like me, Mike can do a little of this.
Oh Lord.
Mike can shoot a layup here or there. But you can shoot a layup, a jump shot, dunk, and all of that stuff, metaphorically in the music industry. What is if you had to reduce yourself to one of the talents of writing, singing, writing, performing, and producing, where would you hang your hat?
Oh, I knew that was a good question. Good question, Big.
I mean, I love it because that means that you're loving everything.
Everything that he does, everything that he's touching, he's loving it.
I'm so in
So
love with the full
yes,
spectrum of what I do. That I've never been asked that question. First of all, that is an amazing question.
it is.
But I I don't know that I can answer that because I don't even want nobody to hear me say that and feel like I'd rather be this. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
hear you.
I really look at this job that I do as not really a job. It's just something I really love to do. It just
Right.
happens to be able to make money for me, you know. Um, but I look at it kind of like all in the same because I grew up writing my own music, singing my own music, you know,
Wow.
producing my own music. Like so I only after I got into the music industry that I recognized that people separate them so much, you know,
Mm,
like they really try to put those in the boxes. And I've been blessed in my career to have been able to be successful in each arena, you know. So I you know, I just love music. I just love
Well,
that's yeah, let me ask you this question. Um, in the music business and you being the producer, the writer, you being everybody, is there a area where you say, "Oh, I got to go get trained to do this," or is this just a natural talent that you have?
Well, I haven't actually been formally trained in anything. Like I don't actually I create everything off of my mind. If
Mm-hmm.
I
wow.
hear something that I like, so I'll thumb my way through the keys. I'll find what it is I'm hearing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or the melody, you know. But as well, you know, music is a collaborative sport, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like I also have other people that I trust who I, you know, be like, yo, what you hear on this? Or how would you approach this? Or how would you?
Right.
Because I'm not so into what I do that I think that I'm the only
The
person that
only one.
with it. You
Absolutely.
know, like so. I've always been just open to collaborations and working with different people, and because it all could inspire different things, you know,
Right.
just
Right.
energy in a room could inspire something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Correct.
yeah,
Well,
so I try to have that approach.
Okay,
well,
well, I think
well,
that's the best approach that we can have because we can get stuck on what you said earlier that I'm the best. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate that statement.
And
So,
there's no room for growth in that, right? There's
right,
no room for growth. If you feel like you're already the best, then
right.
what you're
Where are
not
you going?
where you going?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
well, you speak of collaborations, and on the other half, after the break, we're gonna we're gonna dazzle our audience, and you're gonna talk about, and I know some of your artists are very collaborative, collaboration oriented,
Hmm.
and some of their greatest hits have been collaborations, and
Yes.
we're gonna talk about that. And I'm also gonna have you talk to our young people at the end because you said something um, about you knew in the beginning you weren't going to college, and I recently retired as an elementary school teacher. Uh, uh, I worked primarily in phys ed, but I worked in the classroom also. But
Yeah.
I did these college tours because I had a mentoring group. The last 4 or 5 years that I worked, I had the mentoring groups. I had them in the high schools also, and I would
Mhm.
take these kids on college tours. And so I said, "Why would you take an elementary kid? What is that going to do for them when the college? What's that going to do for them in college?" I said, "Well, you get it, plant it in their minds
Now,
young."
hmm
The next piece before I retired, the next piece I was going to be doing was to include technical colleges, technical schools, and
hmm
Mhm.
all, and make that as big a part of the tour as the actual universities.
Right.
right.
So I want you to talk about that a little later. We're kind of winding into the break, but
Okay.
you fed us with some serious stuff. Let me ask you real quick before we go to break. You of course you had your major orientation in the Virgin Islands. You lived here in South Florida. You lived in the A, and you lived in out in Orange County,
Mhm.
Yeah.
LA County.
Yeah.
Which area of the nation do you prefer? Don't want
Florida.
to get you in no trouble.
Florida 100%. 100%. I love Atlanta though as well. Like, you know, I got my first major break in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. But Florida is just a different and
Vibe.
it's a
Yeah.
vibe. And I'm
Yeah.
Caribbean, so it just feels more
At
natural.
home. Right.
Would you
Right.
say a little louder so she'll hear you, Florida?
He's trying to get
Hey,
moved
I'm
down.
originally from Florida. I'm originally from Florida. Let me just say
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then instead of staying in Florida, I just explored a little bit. And I got here in Houston and haven't left. Let me just say that. So I'm in Florida quite a bit since T wants to say all that. But here is a part before we go on break. Well, when we come back, I guess that would be the best part because I too was one of those who didn't want to go to college. And I went for a year just so I can say, okay, yeah, I did go, and that wasn't what I really wanted to do. So yeah, I can't wait till we come back from break to talk about that because that's very important because everybody's not made to go to college. College is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And come on, let's go to break so we can come back. I'm ready.
So we're going to break, and I got a treat for you tonight. We're actually going to do our little halftime thing tonight. The question is it going to be are you serious, or is it going to be a dang dog, or is it going to be a shout out tonight? We've not been doing it because we've been celebrating. We thumbed our nose at the calendar makers, and we continue African American history a couple of weeks beyond the designated time, actually throughout the month of March, because we're Black all the time, and we shared their history. But we're going to hear a word from our beloved sponsors, and I mean totally beloved. You see the work that they do.
Yes.
And we're going to come back and show you what we got in store for you tonight.
Okay, great.
So you see that versatility. You see the absolute versatility. So they're going to say, Big, don't mess it up. We just put it out there in a professional way. But listen, more Go Giga, creation.com, listen, you have got all of your virtual needs, they got you covered. You just saw a hint of it. I think it was Anthony Hamilton. I saw BET, Sounds of Blackness. Hey, check them out. You saw the web. We'll be seeing it throughout the show. They do an outstanding job. So, even though this brother just keeps trying me, I'm using every ember of restraint in my body. I'm talking about y'all Governor Floridians. Whatever the guy over there in Tallahassee who keeps making crazy moves trying to appeal to one part of that party. But I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to restrain. I sure want to get it. I promise you. I'm sure there'll be something this week that'll push me over. So next week, he's going to get it next week. And I got a whole lot of stuff I've been holding. It's been piling on for 4 months. But tonight it's a shout out, okay? We're not going to, are you serious? Tonight is shout out to the Lady Gamecocks from South Carolina who just claimed, as Lynn, I know you're like this, they just claimed their second title in about 4 years. And last night they defeated the longtime proverbial champions, the Dynasty up in Connecticut. UConn fell to them. They fell to them in the season. They fell to them pretty minorly last night. Also, again, Coach Don Staley, hats off to you, sister. You and your school do an awesome job. And I hear you got a great recruiting class and you got an awesome group coming back. Shout out to the Lady Gamecocks, the 2022 NCAA national champions. And you know what? If the pandemic had not canceled the tournament in 2020, that year, that awful year, all indications are, I think they were undefeated going into what would have been that period. They would have been the national champions then also. They look like they're stacked to come back and repeat again next year. Again, thank you, UConn, for your dynasty. Thank you for being there last night. But to the Lady Gamecocks, shout out to you, Don Staley. Don't let anybody pull you away. Stay right there and continue building that dynasty so that you'll be the female John Wooden for the great job you're doing. Ms. Linda's a basketball savant. She's a basketball coach, player. I know. Shout out to you. You guys were great last night. Lady Gamecocks, y'all got it going on. Shout out to all of you all. We're back. And where we left off with Brother Deuce was Brother Verse was that we were talking to him about knowing your career path and aiming yourself at it. The word y'all were talking about earlier, I'm gonna get the preacher part of me out, was providence. When you were saying when you know that your path is divinely headed in a certain direction, that's the providence of God. But I gotta say this, and you said it, Verse, and I thought it was so awesome. God could let you know where He's leading you to, and showing you the path, but you don't just get there. You got to work to get there. And that's what we wanted to talk about. Your path was in music, and you knew it right away, so you didn't look at college. Please, for our young people that's going to look, we're going to boost this. For our young people that are going to see this, please just give them an ounce of encouragement about knowing what their dream is and never giving up on it.
Yeah. For me, you know, and this is not a shot towards universities or colleges, right? Because I think that you know, they can be good if you know exactly what you want to do. If you know exactly the path and you're sure about it, then they can be really good. But if you're not sure about it, if it's up in the air and it's not something you really want to do, then you know it's kind of it becomes, you know, you're wasting that time. You can be focusing on the thing that you actually want to do. You can be focused on putting the same amount of time and brokenness, right? Because most college students go through, you know, being broke. Right? You can put that same amount of time and brokenness towards what it is you actually want to do, but you just have to know what that is. You know, I never thought that, like I said, for me, I didn't think college was it for me because I knew, you know. But for those who don't know, like, you have to really put some time and dig deep into figuring out what that is. You know, what are you passionate about when you wake up in the morning? Like, what do you want to do? You know, and if you just want to wake up in the morning and like sleep, then you just lazy. So then like, I don't know who get paid to go to sleep, but maybe it's a job, maybe it's a job.
Yeah.
But really, it's just more about like having a passion for something. And I think when you have a passion for something, you can find your purpose in there, and then it'll lead you to, you know, it'll lead you to being able to take care of yourself with your passion. I believe whatever it is you love to do, you can find a way to do it in a way where you can, you know, reap the benefit, you know.
But you know what, Verse, what is the definition really of passion? What that mean? Because when kids hear that, they be like, passion, what that mean? So in this industry or any other, how do I know that's my passion of doing whatever it is that, you know, is out there?
For me, it was coming right back to what it is every time. No matter what else I did, I was always pulled in that direction. It was always like, yo, I'm hearing this song in my head. I gotta write it. You know, I don't know what it looks like for everybody, but for me, it was one of those things where I couldn't get it out of my head. Like, I'm always constantly making a beat in my mind, or something going on. This melody just constantly playing, words just kind of like coming up, and I'm like, yo, like, I gotta write this out. I gotta get it out. You know. So that's for me how I knew what I was passionate about. Because like I said, I tried other things. I worked other retail stores, and my dad works in government, so it'd have been easy for me to say, yo, pops, let me
hook me up.
Let me get a recommendation and get me up in here next to you, and I could be working for but that just was never a thing for me. So I mean, I think you really have to be self-aware, and you have to kind of pay attention to the things that you're drawn to because the signs are there.
Right.
It's just about whether or not you're going to pay attention
to the sign. So let me ask you to go back into your memory brains, back in the back, and just kind of tell us or tell me who are some of your favorite people that you had the opportunity of working with.
I was going to ease into that. I was going to ease into
that. So sorry.
I was going to ease into that. That's all right. That's
fine. All right.
We're there because Latoya has already asked that question. So I was going to, let me tell you how I was going to ease into it, and I'll let the artist do it his way.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, what are some of your favorite, your 5-time Grammy nominees? What were you nominated for? Let's work into it from there.
Oh, okay.
Best R&B single, best R&B album.
You got to tell us the songs.
Best R&B single twice, because New Flame was nominated twice, I believe. That's Chris Brown featuring Usher and Rick Ross.
Okay.
So that was nominated a couple of times. The album was nominated and the single was nominated. So it was nominated for best album, best single. Then there was also Permission, which is I wrote for my friend Ro James.
Oh wow!
That was Grammy. That was Grammy nominated for best R&B song for that year. And I gotta look up the other ones. They're somewhere.
Oh wow, man, that's got to be good to be that. To have
right.
I gotta look up.
So Permission. Ro James. Did he collaborate with her?
No, not.
It's the brother that did the thing with Rihanna and We the Best.
You talking about Bryson Tiller. You're talking about Bryson Tiller. No, okay. I haven't worked with Bryson.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't worked with Bryson.
Okay, so you're free to answer Linda's question now.
Yes. So some of my favorites to work with. Let me see. So I have a song that I put out for myself a while ago called Boo Thing. I did it with Kelly Rowland.
Okay.
She was on that record. So Kelly is a pleasure. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I have worked with, man, this is really a good one because I work with so many people and I have a lot of great relationships with a lot of
everybody.
Yeah, I have a great relationship with a lot of these people. So I mean, Chris Brown is another great collaborator. Usher is another great person that I've collaborated with and worked with. Yeah, and then there's like 7th Streeter, Ro James, for instance. These are people that I work with consistently. And Becky G in the Latin world. I enjoy working with her as well. I have a lot of really cool people that I've collaborated with that I've had just really good chemistry with. It's very rare that I get into a session and it goes bad. But yeah, so those are some of the collaborations that I
can see that. I mean, your energy that you display and the vibe that you showcase now, I can see those people connecting with you and wanting to reconnect again and again and again. So thumbs up to you for that. That's great.
What has been some of your musical interactions with the old school artists?
So let me tell you. It's a good one. You got a lot of good questions tonight. So let me think. Okay, so I just worked with Charlie Wilson a few.
Oh wow!
Okay.
It was like the end of maybe middle of last year. More like the end of last year. I worked with Charlie Wilson. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. You know what I mean? Like, I never expected to work with Charlie Wilson. You know what I'm saying? But we probably did about 5 songs together.
Wow.
I'm just waiting for him to put them out now. I'm hoping that he's gonna put them out, really soon. But yeah, I worked with him, and I worked with the Isley brothers. I worked with Ron Isley.
All right.
Man, you hitting out.
Yeah.
I worked with both. That's crazy. I worked with both of them last year.
Mr.
Separately,
Big.
different times. Just ended up working with the Ron Isley is the coolest
He
cat
is. He
on
is.
the planet.
He
80
is.
years old, and he
It's
still
How
sounds
old
like
is he?
silk.
80. 80.
Ron is Mr. Big is
Yes.
80.
80
80.
years old, and that boy
Yeah.
sound like
Holy cow.
silk still.
Yeah.
He come
And
in
he
there.
is everything. He really is what he just said. He's really a cool guy. Really
Coolest.
cool. Yep.
The
He
coolest. He come
is.
in there, studio. He got on his shades.
They-
He got
Oh,
on his
man.
Gucci or his Louis. I'm
Lou,
talking
yeah.
about to the sock. I'm talking about all the way dripped out, all the way down. I'm talking about he
Yeah.
got his beautiful wife with him
Wife,
everywhere
that's
she
right.
go.
Right. Yeah.
Man.
And he talks just like he sings and
Absolutely.
everything. Yep. He's
Absolutely.
really
He sounds.
cool.
He still sounds.
Yeah.
How he
Very
sounds.
good. That's it.
So,
Very
so
good.
Verse, what? I mean, I know, we're aging ourselves, but we were just coming on the scene when Jimi Hendrix was at his zenith.
Yeah.
Do you know that Ernie just really patterned himself? And if there's anything as a modern day, and I know there's some guys over in the rock world. You know, and I grew up a big time Journey fan and all that. But man, Ernie Isaac can just make that guitar talk.
That man is amazing. So he was, you know, because all two of them were in every session.
Yeah.
Both of them come to every session. We were locked in for about a week. And Ernie doesn't talk much.
Oh wow.
He come in there though.
And
he
play.
have key moments. You know, so if we're writing a song, he might be just sitting back, not paying attention. You think like he's just in a different world, and he come up like, yo, I got it. And he'll hit you with a line or two, and you just be like, oh, you was. And then he'll go in there and he'll pull out that guitar and go to town.
Wow.
Go to town. He is something special. He, like I said, he don't say a lot, but everything when he does say something, it connects. It connects.
Well, you know, my wife is going. You give me some great cool points for my wife because she's a big time fan of Charlie Wilson, and I don't know if you remember when Sinbad was doing the HBO special.
Yeah.
And one of the last ones he did, Al Green was on there, but the Gap Band and Ziggy Marley just kind of stole the show. And at the end, Charlie Wilson when they were doing Running, and he started running. Oh man, they were just off the
amazing.
chain. We YouTube that song to death.
Amazing.
That's
a
good resume right there.
Sinbad used to come to the Virgin Islands to do those shows sometimes.
Yeah,
so I was a very small kid, and I remember my mom taking me to one of those Sinbad shows where he had like the Gap Band come out.
Yeah,
I was really young.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great resume. Just those two people right there. You don't need to say nobody else.
Yes.
That's the ball game. So let me ask you this right here. Go ahead, Big.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you because I pretend I could sing, you know, and I was gonna ask you to go ahead and can you hit me a little melody or something? Let me just hear what you sound like.
I was gonna save it for the end of the show, but if you push the brother now.
No, I wanna do it now. So I might have something else later. I don't want to close the show out there. Come on, let's go.
You're my boo thing. I can't get enough. I love your stuff. Let's turn it up. You'll get what you want because you're my boo thing. And when your friends ask, I'm not your man, just the closest thing that you have to a boo thing. There you go.
All right.
And I don't usually do that for people, by the way.
No, I feel special and I'm so honored.
With Kelly, right?
Yeah, that's the one I got with Kelly.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. It's okay.
Man.
On the boo thing.
That's
all right.
Right.
Hold on.
That was right to you, Linda.
That was it.
Oh man. Now I ask you, and Madam Producer, our oldest daughter would not let me off the hook if she thinks that it's the funniest thing in the world that an old dude like me just fell in love with T-Pain, Tism Pism.
You did ask me about T-Pain. You did.
She asked me already. Yeah. She just thought that it's the funniest thing in the world. And anytime she hears anything like auto tune, anything like T-Pain might have his hands on it. She said, "There go T-Pain, B. There go T-Pain." What is it like working with such an incredibly gifted brother as he?
So this is the thing. Me and Penn have never actually worked together. We just know each other through passing, and we always vibe like that. But we've actually never actually got in the studio and worked together that I can remember. But we used to be signed. We both were signed to Akon at one point. And so Akon gave him his start, and as well as mine. Well, actually, I already had singles out before Akon, so but that came afterwards. But me and Payne have we connect through that, line, being that we were assigned to the same person at one point, but we've actually never actually worked together. Now that I think about it, but recently, some of his people reached out to me to get onto his podcast that he has going on. So they reached out. So we're planning to make that happen at some point.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. That sounds great. So can I ask a question, Big?
Go ahead. You're gonna do
Okay,
it
because
anyway.
I want to be a writer one day. So how do I get in the business of writing?
I think for people who want to be
Great
like
question.
writers in the music industry, I think the first step is building a catalog of music, right? Because you need to have things to present, right? Because you can come to somebody and be like, "Yo, I write." All right, let me hear it. Because other than that, it's kind of like I don't have a point of reference.
Also, if I'm writing, I gotta know how to sing it too.
You gotta know how to demo it, reference it at least good enough so the person can get the idea. Not saying that you have to be the best singer or any of that, but either you have to find a singer that can reference you if you're not a vocalist, or you have to actually figure out how to get your point across by recording it so people can hear it. Because words on a sheet of paper is just
It's
a book.
nothing. Yeah.
Just words on so the person has to know, okay, so how do you want these words sang? What's the feeling that we're trying to get behind it?
I thought that, okay, so now this is just my view now. I know there's other people out there think like me, but I thought if you wrote the song, I then give it over to you, but now I understand that I got to tell you some kind of direction it should be going, and then you enhance it. Is that exactly what you said? You told me?
Absolutely, yeah. So I tell people, right? So I can write a hit song for somebody, but then it's also about how that person delivers it as well. So half of the job is to give them a song that I feel is good for them, and the other half is them actually pulling it off. But yeah, like that's basically what it is. You have to be able to, direct them in some way as to how the song should sound, how it should come across. And then from there, they take the record and they say, okay, cool. I hear what you're saying. Let me put this into it, or I'll try this with, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you have to have a way to present the record where you're writing a poem.
Okay.
So verse on that tip, how do you balance putting your stuff out there and it's not copyrighted or trademarked or anything like that? How do you I guess a whole lot of trust goes, but I know a whole lot of pirating takes place in the industry. How do you get your stuff heard by a person with confidence that they're not going to steal it?
Yeah, that's right.
You can't.
Okay.
You can't. And okay, so first of all, especially nowadays, right? So there's way more ways to track down how something was sent, right? So if you have to go through legal, then you could show the date that you sent it to the person, and then you could do that. But really, there's no copywriting a vibe. So people could take an energy, a vibe. They could take a concept and kind of flip it and manipulate it in a way, as long as it's not exactly the same, then they could get away with it.
Wow.
It has to be almost exactly, or melody parts and lyric parts that are actually the exact same as yours, for you to be able to go after them, or for you to be able to say, yo, they stole it from me, you know? But the people who are gonna steal it from you, they have gotten a lot smarter about how they're gonna finesse it, you know? So they're gonna finesse it by kind of like reverse engineering your song. Like, cause you know, I've been in it for a while now, to the point where like I've literally heard people like reverse engineer songs that I've written for people, you know, like that's the vibe. So they didn't take that and they kind of like rework it and make it something different, but it kind of feels the same. Like, so, you know, I get a lot of people hit me up like, yo, did you write this song? Cause this sounds just like something you wrote.
Right.
I'll be like, nah, but you know, but I know the writer, or I know the writer is a fan of me, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of know, but you can't really do it. What you can do is continue to be consistent, continue to put out more, continue to be better.
Okay.
They can't, if they're stealing it from you, they probably can't create it on their own. So they're waiting for whoever puts out something really dope so they can kind of like snatch it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So I got two questions in my mind, but it's hard for me to get them out because I got this bull thing going on in my head. I was talking about that green light, but then the bull thing, they kind of take it over.
Green light.
But let me ask you, I want to get these out before the clock tries to slap us upside the head. And I know Linda's not through yet because she can talk forever. All right,
you got a good subject. Got a good subject.
I'll pay for that. Listen, Verse. People like Jaheim, and even going back before him, there was Luther. Until he came out with the last album, I think the album was Dance With My Father Again. I think that was the album. He had taken a huge sabbatical. Jaheim, you never hear from him. You don't hear from Payne now. What happens when these guys and girls and artists and groups, what happens when they just take these long periods of time off? What is that like? And what's the method behind that?
Well, that's a good one because there's a lot of different perspectives to that and a lot of different. So this industry is a very trendy industry, right? So you have to be able to kind of like dance with the times. You have to be able to not get locked into what you used to do and what you used to know and how it used to go. You have to be able to, you know, like I said, transition with the times. If you look at somebody like a Jay-Z, look at how long he's been successful and been out here. He understood like, yo, you got to rebrand about every 5 years. You got to become something totally different. A lot of times when people take these breaks, it's not just breaks, like they're kind of being pushed out by the younger, you know, talent. Because they haven't figured out how to continuously be, you know, be able to change, you know, that voice. You know what I mean?
Right. Correct.
Your voice, even like especially if you're a singer, like people still got to be able to hear that new vibe sometimes, you know. And but if they're used to hearing one thing from you, you still can't take them too far
from it
because then it's like, what is this? You know what I mean? So it's a very tricky thing to try to balance out. But most times you see people, you know, such as a Jaheim, let's say, you know, those kind of singers kind of got pushed out because it was a very, you know, churchy thing. And singing, when it comes to mainstream radio, has become a lot more commercialized and a lot more like easy listening. People don't want to hear all those runs and all those, you know, they want to be able to sing it themselves. They want to be able to hear it and feel like, oh, I could sing this, you know? So a lot of times when you see people that kind of like go away like that, and you know, their labels stop believing in them, or the label changed, right? So there might be whoever was your A&R or your head of your label, they might not be there anymore. So the new people, they might not see you as the priority anymore. It's a very, very tricky thing. And to go back to the question you asked me about which one do I like, singing, producing, or artist, the one thing I will say about those three is that an artist has a shorter lifespan.
Oh,
wow.
You have a 3 to 5 year lifespan at a peak. You know, for the most part. You have people that exceed that, and that's an exception to the rule. But for the amount of artists that come out, there's like a 3 to 5 year, you know, like window that you have.
Yeah.
So setting yourself in the industry, like for instance, for me, you know, being a writer for other people, producing records for other people, it makes sure that I'm able to still be in the music industry
Right.
and thriving, right?
Right. Right.
Like people coming to me, just it's not like, okay, well, you could fall out of love with Verse Simmonds, the singer,
Right.
right?
Right.
But okay, cool. So I'll just write a song for Chris Brown. You didn't know I wrote the song for Chris Brown, but guess what? I'm
That's
still
what I
eating on
did.
all. I'm still
Right.
working. You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm
it's
still,
that triple threat. It's not
yeah,
just being the artist. It's not
yeah,
just being um that producer. You got to be that triple threat. You got to have something else to fall back on.
yeah.
So
Well, you got to be a foundational piece, right?
right.
Like I said,
Right.
you know, you look at somebody, you know, like I look at like Quincy Jones, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
or better example, Babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example.
Oh
You know,
wow.
he's that guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Artist, writer, producer.
Right.
To this day, he was able to sustain in the
Mm-hmm.
music industry, not only because he was an artist that
Mm-hmm.
people loved his music, but he wrote some of the biggest hits for some of the biggest
Right.
artists. He
Right.
signed some of the biggest artists to LaFace Records, whether it be TLC and all these people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
who were signed to LaFace. That
Mm-hmm.
you know, him and L.A. Reid created that company together. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So I look at people like that, and I kind of like I try to follow those steps because
Yes.
I always knew for me it was about the longevity in music.
Mm-hmm.
It was never just about like, oh yeah, like I come out an artist and I got to be the most popular artist today. And then
Mm-hmm.
no, it was. I've always had it in my mind to write for other people. I want to put out
Mm-hmm.
my own music. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna produce for other people. I'm gonna do that. So for me, I just kind of always had that approach because I
And
want the longevity.
So when you talk versatility, and I'm dating myself, but a lot of people, and I'm real big on the Minneapolis sound. I did was in a doctoral program up there, and just love that part of the world. A lot of people don't know that Jam and Terry Lewis actually produced the Human League,
yeah.
who came across the pond, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, to just, I'll tell you what I just did. We just looked at it, and this may be way beyond your day verse. There's a thing, but it's YouTubeable. Linda, I know you remember this. It's Motown Returns to the Apollo. Toya remembers we sit down and looked at it. I thought we sat here and looked at it with her daughter the other night in its entirety. And it just showed the versatility from Sam Harris
Mm-hmm.
to what's the kid that sang with Wham? George Michael,
Oh, okay.
to
Yeah.
Billy Preston, to
Right.
Joe Cocker, to Patti LaBelle, to the New Jersey Mass Choir, Donna Ross, so on, and Sam Harris, the new school. So
Right.
we talked earlier about Mr. Big. Mr. Big kept himself marketable by joining in with the collaboration with
Absolutely.
R. Kelly.
Yeah.
with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He understood the assignment. He understood that if I'm out
Absolutely.
here, then
Right.
I gotta kind of get in with people who are
Right.
of that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that now, I mean, that's really saying something with a voice for the ages. For him to say, okay, I got to grab in with this young group.
That's right.
Have we lost lyrics in all of in not trying to come against your artistry, but the production that has such a heavy piece in a piece of a song now? Has the voice, the call for a Whitney Houston voice or a Teddy Pendergrass voice, has it just kind of died? I know Chris Brown brought that to the table, R. Kelly to an extent, and others. But has that kind of taken a backseat to everything else that can overshadow it?
Well, I think now has it taken a backseat? Yes, it has taken a backseat for sure because there's not as much quality control anymore. Like anybody could put out a song today.
Right.
You could put out a song right now. You could go on a DSP, you know, put out the song, and you could have a song out. So when you look at it like that, then yes. But I mean, it's also, I feel like it's always kind of like in cycles with music. I think you have these times where, you know, it gets super deep, and then it's sometimes where it's like super, just we have eras that's just funky and fun.
Yeah.
people ain't really trying to hear that deep stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of one of those things where you kind of got to go through the process. But I tell people also, though, the classic stuff lasts forever still. You know, like a great song, a great well-written song that's sang properly will last and be successful in any era. You know, so
the Christmas song, Nat King Cole, that's for the ages.
Yeah. It's not going nowhere. It's not going anywhere.
It's lasting forever. It's gonna last as long as you, Big.
That's right. And you know,
pretty old then.
You know, Mariah Carey, you know, she has a Christmas album every year. She sells millions of records of this Christmas album because it's amazing. It's amazing music. To this day, we all gather around and listen to that, you know, and still all relate to it. So, I mean, and there's a lot of new people now too that are bringing like these great voices back that have actual lyric content that's a little deeper. Like you think about somebody like her, you know,
love her.
She's one of the people that I look at right now who's still like in her R&B bag and really just quality, you know, music that is just always great. I think she's going to be around a very long time.
Verse, we definitely want to get you back. Not gonna we can ask you to stick around with us about 6 more minutes, and we'll close out like 9:10. I gotta ask you this though. I gotta ask you, and if, you know, if it's something you don't want to touch, I understand. There has been a whole lot of dialogue this week in the Black community, the professional, the entertainment community. Stephen A. Smith has come out and spoken. Imagine him coming out and speaking. I'm a sports guy, so I follow him. Stephen A. has come out. Kareem has come out. Denzel has spoken out. What do you think the long-term effects of what happened last week at the Academy Awards? I'm not asking you to put your opinion. I wouldn't do that to you. Lynn and I are so glad to have you here. But what do you think the long-term effects and how will this be resolved? How will this be resolved? What happened?
So for me, and I don't mind putting my opinion out there on this particular topic. I think when I saw it happen, you know, when I heard the joke, it wasn't a good joke. I was like, what? And he obviously, I don't know if Chris didn't care or he didn't know about what her situation was, but I felt like it wasn't, and the fact that it had been, so he's constantly picking on that family. I don't necessarily, I think the slap was deserved, but I don't necessarily think it should have been done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just feel like, you know, this internet and it gets people to say so much, and then they forget that when you're in front of somebody, there's actual like consequences to some of these things that you say. Like, you know, especially about a man's wife in his face. Like I said, I don't condone violence, but don't play with me either.
Right.
And so when you have a situation like that, where somebody is constantly throwing jabs and you chose a night when I'm here to throw another jab, you might pick up on these hands. On the other hand, I wish it didn't happen like that because 2 black men on this kind of platform, you know, it just don't look good for the world. But I'm just kind of one of those people that's like, don't play with me though. Either.
Yeah. But it wasn't about okay. I know you didn't ask me, but it wasn't just about 2 black men going against each other. Because I mean, people do ask the question, if it was another color, another race, would it have happened? I think it would have happened as well. One thing that we do forget is that we don't know what they were going through prior to arriving at the location. And when you don't know people's health and you jump in on that situation, I'm with you. I don't violence because I would have took you in the back. But we can't still say, oh man, we wouldn't have did it right there. I wouldn't have did it right there. You don't know because you wasn't in that chair. You know what I'm saying?
I like addressing offenses at the scene of the crime.
Me too.
I'm not about to wait till we go because you didn't care.
Right.
We both not about to care.
Right.
And we're gonna do it right here, right now, and you're gonna get these hands.
Well, my thing was as an a senior woman that yesterday when I looked at the disciplines from my parents, where you act up at is where I got you at. So that was my mindset on the whole thing. And no, I don't wish that either one of them would have been in the situation that took place.
Absolutely.
And it, you know, but that again, we don't know what Will's situation was. And he tried to laugh to not get into what was going on. But then when you looked at your wife and your wife was like, oh man, for real. Now you got to take care of your home.
You know what's so crazy? Somebody broke it down to me, and I already was in that headspace already. But somebody, one of my close friends, he had his son passed, and it was from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So he broke down to me what that is to feel that every day. And have to see your person go through these changes in their body every day. See them lose hair, see them lose weight, see them actually see that every day. Know the tears that she's crying, know all the things that she's going through, especially for a woman, you know.
Right.
Don't know what's going on. That was just not something to me where even as a comedian, it's cringy when I hear comedians talk about diseases or talk about anything like that on a stage, because we don't know who is in the audience. You know, these aren't light things. These are heavy situations. You know what I mean? We're not talking about a hat on your head, or we're not talking about your shirt or your pants. And no, we're talking about health things. And so I think that you know, again, I don't really condone it, but I wasn't mad at it. I was like, yeah, he deserves.
I wasn't mad either.
Well, you know. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm good.
Well, you know, Magic Johnson was a butt of jokes when he was going through his HIV. So, and I worked, you know, I'm a former policeman. I worked in a comedy club and worked in a comedy club. And I just think that there are just no, I think comedians sometimes don't think about it. It's all about the joke. You know, just like sometimes it's all about the hit. I think it's all about the joke, and they don't mean anything, but it has an effect. So there's two perspectives with what happened there. One was the fact that Will and Jada's situation is so public, and it's so, you can say by the mainstream, you can say it's messy. Yet on the other side, Tiffany Haddish comes out and says, "Hey, I applaud that brother. He stood up for his black wife." And so, you know, and all in the middle is where the conflict lies.
Well,
I think most women feel that way.
Absolutely. Because if I was to have you to say something, well, I can't use myself as an example because I'm gonna take care of me. But
imagine that.
Yeah. If my husband was to sit there and allow you to go into my health issue and don't do anything, I got to do him. You understand what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna take care of the other situation later. But first of all, I needed you to protect me.
Period.
That's what I needed. That's what I needed. So when you protected me, regardless of how people felt about it, I felt that my husband was there for me. He protected me the best way that he could. And that was on national television, slapping Chris shut up.
And you are a legend because you got an Oscar and you slapped the man the same night. And they let you go back to your seat and sit down.
Thank you.
And they couldn't move you. Want to know why? Because they can't take nothing from him.
That's right. They
can't take nothing from him. They wish they could take him out some roles, but he owns his own companies. They wish they could say, "Oh, Jada, you can't come back to work." No, but she owns her own companies. This is a king and a queen sitting next to each other. Don't play with us.
That's right.
And I don't care what everybody says about their personal relationship and how they deal with their relationship and but that's their thing. And the one thing they've always made clear is we are our thing. We ain't going nowhere. This is just what it is. We're
That's
gonna
it.
deal with whatever it
That's
is.
it.
You guys gonna get to see some of it. The other
Right.
you don't see, but you come across here talking crazy, you're gonna get slapped. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't play, because you put me in a position like that where I feel I gotta protect my wife, my girl, my mama, my sister, like something like
Right.
that. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to show out.
I got to. Got to. Got to. And she sat there like a queen should and let
He
her
sat there
husband
like,
do what he needed to
that's
do.
what you get.
That's it.
He said it
That's
like,
right.
say
So,
something again.
Verse,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get told off by the producers, but I should be rapping and stuff. But I just gotta ask you this: that show had a black man won the Academy Award for
Right.
Best Actor, which
Mhm.
I didn't. I saw the movie was playing. I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was sitting here doing other stuff. But by most accounts, it was well deserved. That show was heavily black laden with a black producer, Will Packer, and across the line. Where do you see blacks in the entertainment industry, an industry that we've always dominated? Now, I asked you earlier about pirating people's their branding. We know that George Clinton is probably 10 or more $1 million lighter because he just didn't have the rights to his music. Where do you see us in the industry? You see this kind of ripoff? Do you see younger guys like yourself who has seen the mistakes of our elderlies? And I mean, it's a shame Red Fox died with his hand out, with his head out, getting money to pay the IRS. Where do you see blacks in the industry with this younger group of blacks? And I want to ask you about the A. I want to ask you about that, but I'll say that for another time. Where do you see us going in that?
I mean, I think where it's going with all creative platforms is as it relates to blacks. I think we're starting to own our own. Like you see
Right.
Tyler Perry, he's just opened his own studio. So he putting out his own movies, his own shows. Anthony Mackie, I believe, just bought a bunch of land in New. It's like 200 acres or something. He's about to open his own. So I think technology is allowing people to create their own fan base, their own audience, their own supporters. Whereas before, you had to wait for these people to come along and give you a chance to get on their screens.
Right.
Even in the music industry, is becoming to a point where it's like, yo, now we'll use our platforms, build up our fan base, and now we can own equity in our own things. So you won't have those situations as much anymore when you have, these people dying. They work their whole career and they dying broke. I think it's leading, especially in the music industry. A lot more people are finding their way in the independent space because they're understanding, like, yo, really, these people aren't doing anything that's magical. They're just using their resources and they're using money, and being creative and
how did we're actually not too far apart. Let's see, he might need
It
to
might be reboot, but we have to bring him back. The night was grand. I mean,
this was just fantastic.
We have to bring him back.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, we don't want to. If he's able to come back on, we at least want to let him say goodbye to us.
Yeah.
I guess that was nature's way of just shutting us down.
Right.
But we got to bring him back. Linda, I'm so glad you joined us. Like, tell us something you learned tonight.
Oh man, listen, I understand. Well, about the writing. I just thought people just write a song and you pass it over. Okay, Dozy, I wrote this song. I didn't understand. I didn't know that in writing you got to also give me the the rhythm and all this, how you want it to go. Now that was my biggest lesson I think I learned tonight, because that was pretty interesting for me. I'm like, I'm gonna write a song one day. Oh no, I'm not, because I don't, So yeah, this is something that you have to have in your heart to do. So that's the path.
I'm not going to disclose how I know this brother and how we met and so forth. But before I learned that he was in the industry, I was just so impressed at how he takes care of his business.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get him back on, we want him to share those kinds of things of how how you take care of your business so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't. We ended the show talking about people who worked all their lives and then ended up broke. I can tell you he's well protecting his brand, and
Mm-hmm.
he's taking care of himself business wise, and that's just so refreshing. I don't know if he's 40 years old.
Wow.
I don't know that. We didn't get into that, but I was impressed before I even knew. And I literally, when I say literally, I mean I literally stumbled into his musical environment. That's how I knew.
Wow.
Or I asked. I didn't know it was to the level. But we're just glad he came by, and I am equally glad to have my sister with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to him again. I thought he was from the back behind the backstage that he was a very intelligent young man, and I love to see our children um, do what they do and do it well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, Linda, we're going to get you back on in the short term. You are entertainment editor here at the Dialogue, and I wish Kim could have been here with you tonight, but he's down here, and every time he comes in the area, look like I'm always in another
No,
venue or doing something differently. But
yeah.
I'm sure shout outs to you from him, and just shout out to our team of producers who make this show what it
Oh,
is.
for sure. For sure. Great job. Great job. I'll be like that one day.
Listen, thank you so much. As
Uh,
I see it simply like this. Put your head to the grindstone, get a gift. What God gives you, make the most of it, invest in it. Though it's a God-given talent, you must do the investment of your time, your talents, um, your treasures, your blood, your sweat, and your tears. And when you do, you're able to come on shows like this and be questioned by Linda Scott and myself on the Dialogue because you've reached that status. Tonight, Linda,
yes,
thank,
dear.
thank, thank you again. Um, Thank you again for being with us tonight. We love you, always will. No distance ever celebrates you. Kim, we love you. And Verse, man, we love you
Oh,
immensely
yeah.
for being our guest tonight. Listen, next
Okay.
week, we're probably going to do what we had originally planned. It was going to be a Hot Button Monday. Tell your friends about this show and tell them to look and be inspired by what this brother had to say. And we really didn't get into all the artists. We kind of
Right.
made that a timid subject. So we'll do that the next time he comes back on. And this is Dialogue with Dozy. We love you. 8 o'clock Monday nights, YouTube and Facebook Live. We can't do it without moregogiggacreations.com. We love you and we thank you. God bless. Listen, I don't know what to say. See you next Thursday, next Monday night.
Next Monday. Good night.
Love you.